Now that we know how to improve our community, let's now talk about improving our school environment. We can do this using the SIP or the School Improvement Plan. So, what is the SIP? The School Improvement Plan is a roadmap that lays down specific intervention that a school with the help of a community and other stakeholders will undertake within a period of 3 consecutive school years. The implementation of development activities integral to it are in the schools, such as projects under the Continuous Improvement Program, the creation and mobilization of learning action cells, and the preparation of school report cards. The SIP seeks to provide those involved in school planning an evidence based, systematic approach, with the point of view of the learner as a starting point. Ultimately, it is envisioned to help schools reach the goal of providing access to quality education. Why is the SIP important for us? This is integral for teachers to learn because we want our learners to have the best environment for learning that we can provide. It's not good for us to settle on what we have because there are always problems that might occur. The SIP ensures that we are continually improving so that the stakeholders can get maximum benefits from our institutions. So, how do we make the SIP? Similar to the CIP, we also do a needs assessment for our SIP, but this time it is more centered around student learning. This time around, however, we will be conducting a comprehensive needs assessment. This needs assessment should adhere to: first is to focus on student learning, because everything must circle back to student instruction, exactly because that is what this is all about. Second is hiring or recruiting third-party organizations. If possible, hire a third organizations to conduct a needs assessment to retain objectivity. And third, include internal review. Schools must provide data on school analysis and instruction reviews. They should also look whether they have the means of implementation. Fourth, include external review. Districts should also look at pressing topics in the education community, emerging technological advancements, and such other things. And number 5, incorporate both quantitative and qualitative data. By examining both kinds of data, schools will be ensuring their accuracy. Let's say we were able to gather sufficient data that we need. Well, what's next? Now let's get into the steps in making the SIP. First, we have our preparatory activities. Step 1. Prepare for the SIP development. This part is where you will be gathering your data and consolidating information. This is where you also form the school community planning team, composed of significant authority from the school and the community. Sharing your mission, vision, and goals are also a priority at this point. Let us proceed to the first phase of our SIP. Phase 1. Assess. Step 2. Identify and review priority improvement areas. This is where you will be presenting your information and ideas gathered from preparatory phase and start identifying your priority improvement areas which should be focused on. And step 3, analyze the priority improvement areas. After identifying your PIAs, set your general objective for the next 3 years. Start organizing teams for specific PIAs. This is where you'll also start analyzing the root cause of the problems that you will be facing. Let us proceed to our next phase. Phase 2, plan. Under planning, we have step 4. Review general objectives and targets. Now that you've examined the root cause of the problems, you have to start reviewing and revising your objectives and targets. Make sure that your objectives are aligned with your cause. Step 5. Formulate solutions. The assigned team shall now offer their solutions for their designated PIAs. Step 6. Develop project designs. Your team should now project designs for your solutions with its corresponding work plans and budgets. Step 7. Write the school improvement plan. Write the SIP document using the structure below. Or if you're using a simpler format, maybe go ahead and use that. And step 8. Prepare the annual implementation plan. At this point, you should start planning for the first year of implementation. And for our final phase, phase 3, which is ACT, we have step 9, test the solutions. Before fully implementing any changes, be sure to test it first on a smaller population. And then we have step 10, roll out the solutions. If tests are successful, the project can now be fully implemented and rolled out, not by the project team, but by the stakeholders or the owners. Back to assess. After the end of the ACT phase, the cycle goes back to assess. The school's monitoring system should take note of the performance indicators set for each priority improvement area. This is to ensure that we are going through continual improvement. Step 11. Check progress of your AIP. Check your progress whether you have followed your annual implementation plan. If you seem to have been veering off, then you have to start doing corrective maneuvers. And finally, you have to communicate everything to the stakeholders. This is one of the more important parts of keeping your project in check. Letting the stakeholders know about the results of your SIP contributes to the better management of schools, and thus finalizing your SIP.